This example is asking us to create a truth table for not P or parentheses Q and not R. Now notice I already have my truth table set up for P, Q, and R, and as a reminder, P is always going to be 4 true, 4 false, Q is going to be 2 true, 2 false, 2 true, 2 false, and then R is always going to be true, false, all the way down. And you have to set up your truth table the same way every single time. Now, when I go to fill out my top row of this truth table, I want to think about how I want to fill this out. I don't want to just automatically throw things in. Now, I know that before I can find the entire truth statement, I'm going to have to find this set of parentheses first. But within this set of parentheses, the first thing I'm going to need is not R. So I'm going to actually put not R as my next column. Once I have not R, then I can find Q and not R. So I will now, at that point, have this set of parentheses. But in order to now find the entire statement, I need not P. And then once I have not P, I can find not P or Q and not R. So the thing is now, when you go in to fill in the rest of your chart, you don't have to go in order of the columns that you see. So really, we can fill in not P, because that's easy to fill in. That's just the opposite of P, which is false, 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 true, 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 true. And we can also fill in not R, because that's easy, which is false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true. So those columns get filled in right away. You don't even have to think about what you're putting in them. Next, we want to find the column Q and not R. Now, as a reminder, for Q and not R, we're looking at this column here as well as this column here, which means we're ignoring the P column and the R column, and we're just looking at Q and not R. You can even cover up those columns if you want to as you go. So for Q and not R, the rule for and is both of them have to be true. So let's take a look as we work our way down. Let's find the situations where both of them are true. So in this row here, true and false, that doesn't work. Here we have true and true, so we're going to fill that in as being true. Let's keep going. False and false, false and true, true and false. Here we have another example of true and true, so we're going to fill in the true. Here we have false, and here we have false and true. So the only places here where we have true and true are the two rows that we've already filled in, which means the rest of these have to be false. So let's fill those in. And now that column is complete. Okay, so let's take a look at our final column. We're looking at not P or Q and not R, which means we're looking at not P, that's this column here, Q or not R is this column here, and we're comparing those two columns, and we want OR. Now remember what the rule is for OR. The rule for OR is at least one of them has to be true in order for it to be true. So let's work our way down. Again, here we have false and false. That's not going to work. Here we have true and false. Perfect. So that has a true in it, so I can make it true. False and false, false and false. Here we have another false and true. That has a true, so I'm going to mark it as true. We have true and true. That certainly has a true. It actually has two of them. And then in the last two columns, the last two rows, I also see that I have a true in each of those. So these 5 rows have trues, which means the other ones are going to be false. And now we are done. Remember that the final answer here for the truth table really is this column here. So depending on what the problem is asking you, if it's asking you to fill in the entire table, great, fill in the entire table. But if it's just asking you for the truth value, that's the column that you're going to want to fill in.